Welcome to this special episode of the No Name Podcast. My name is John Howle. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning Innovation here at Forsyth Tech. And today we have a very special guest, Megan Mills. Megan, welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful and so happy to have you here. Megan serves as the early and middle college liaison here at Forsyth Tech. Megan, could you tell us a little bit about your position and give us an insight into a day in the life of Megan Mills?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the early and middle college liaison, we are focusing on our high school students that are on the campus of Forsyth Tech. So, these students are receiving an associate's degree or they're working towards an associate's degree while they are in high school. So, as part of my role, I actually am their advisor. I'm also giving them resources on campus to make sure that they're successful during their actually 4 years on Forsyth Tech's campus because they're doing 2 years of high school and then their 2 years of their associate's degree. So, not just along with advising, I'm also giving them resources for scholarships, for resume building, college tours. We are doing things like that. So, we are in the process of actually building the program. So, students are with us, like I said, on our campus for 4 years, and I am there to help them through their process while on our campus to make sure that they're comfortable and that they are successful while they're at Forsyth Tech.
Well, Megan, can you tell us a bit about your background? How did you come to Forsyth Tech, and how did this role sort of come to be for you?
Absolutely. So I actually started in education with sixth grade. So I was actually sixth grade in EC, and then I from there I actually started with the Black Achievers program through the YMCA, Northwest North Carolina YMCA, and that program was to prepare students for post-secondary options. So I was the director of that program and making sure students were once again college tours, resume building, world of work tours, so students got to see different workplaces and um how that would play into their life later. We also did things like workshops of communication, self-esteem building, things like that. So I had these students, mainly a lot of them started in the ninth grade, and then they would stay until the 12th grade, and they also had scholarship opportunities through the Black Achievers program. But we would take students at any time, so we could take students anytime between ninth and 12th grade. So from the Black Achievers program, I then came to Forsyth Tech. So I've been here a little bit over a year. And so I have now, like I said, I've been here for a year and I love it. So I'm doing some of the same things I did in my last program, just a little bit more of the advising here at Forsyth Tech.
Well, and Megan, what is it that you love most about working with that particular group of students at those ages? What speaks to you in that work?
So I have always loved the high school age. I had made the decision in high school that I said this is like the years of the life that I want to make sure that I'm making a difference. As cliche as it sounds, I love seeing the light bulb come on. And for students in their junior and senior year, as people like to say, oh, you're making your decision for the rest of your life. I like to make my students feel comfortable and say it's okay not to know the decision you're going to have for the rest of your life, because I was one of those students when I got to college, I changed my major twice. And I had a mom who was a guidance counselor who made that okay, who said it's okay. What are your plans? Let's sit down and make a plan. Let's sit down and go through some opportunities and look at your options for what life is going to look like after college. And I don't want you to enjoy this time. I don't want this to be a rush through. I don't want this to be just a time where you're just taking the classes to get out. You need to enjoy these classes because this is building you for the rest of your life. So what I have really enjoyed about working with high school students is to help them understand just as much what you don't like and what you do like. I think those are very important to understand because I have students who come to me and say on the first day, I want to be a doctor. Great. Have you ever been inside of a hospital? Have you ever seen a surgery? Have you ever shadowed a nurse? Anything like that. And so I like to provide those opportunities because I want students to understand that that's important. So I had a student, that student actually after said, you know what, Miss Mills, I don't like blood. I don't think I can do this. And I said, that's okay. There's so many other options in the healthcare world that it doesn't have to be around blood. It doesn't have to be with an actual patient. You could be doing other things in healthcare. Let's look at those options. So, like I said, as cliche as it sounds, watching that light bulb come on and making sure that they have those options. Also, setting campus. Good thing about the early college, they're getting a head start. Early and middle college are they're setting foot on a college campus early. But what does that look like at a four-year institution? What are their differences? What are your options? And I really want to give students that opportunity to see those things early, instead of getting to college and lost and maybe staying there way past the time they need to be there because they didn't have those opportunities in high school and even in middle school. It starts early. You have to start exposing students to these opportunities and this world, this college world, earlier than when they set foot on that campus.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Megan, thinking back to your years
Mhm.
when you were at the age of your students, was there a particular teacher who had a strong impact on you that really made you want to go into education? Do you remember them?
I had a teacher and I have a family.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
teacher would be Miss Lawrence. And I still talk to her today. She was my ninth grade world history teacher. And I actually did a study abroad program in high school with her where we went to Germany. And so I absolutely, she opened the world to me to understand that teaching's not boring. Teacher is not just a teacher who stands in front of the classroom and does a lecture and reads off the board and then gives you worksheets. She made teaching so interactive and she connected with us on a personal level that I appreciated. She knew our name, she knew our likes and dislikes, she knew our learning style. She knew that half the class needed that worksheet, but she knew half the class needed that hands-on experience. She was the first teacher that we did like a snowball war at Christmas time where we got to throw paper across the classroom. And I understood education is so much more than just sitting in a classroom and putting a pen to a piece of paper. It is about the whole student, what they need to be successful. And I say I have a family. My mother was a teacher. I said she was a guidance counselor at the end of her career, but she was a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher. I had three aunts that are teachers. So I like to tell people it was in my blood. I
Yeah.
ran from it at first. I kept saying, I'll never be a teacher. That's not what I want to do. When I was younger, I said, everybody's teachers in my family. I'm going to do something different. And I'd like to tell people education grabbed me and pulled me right back in. It was something that I could not get away from. And
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that because once again, I'm also telling my students not limited to the classroom. It's
Mhm.
so much more besides just the classroom. I am so glad I'm in education and I'm not necessarily in classroom, but I am still teaching. I'm doing so much within the education world and be able to touch these students.
That is so great, Megan. That's so. I love that how you said that you've got it in your blood. That is
Yeah.
that your passion is so clear, and your students are so lucky. You know, Megan, there's a particular topic we're going to talk about today, but I would like to ask you this as well. How have you? How has this wild period of COVID been for you all at the early and middle college, and what how are your students doing?
So this has been a huge adjustment for students. I actually had my student advising sessions. We started those a couple weeks ago, so I'm finishing them up this week and next week. And that has been the first question I ask my students: How are you? What is this looking like for you? Are you enjoying it? And I'm going to be very honest with you, John. It's been half and half. I've had half students who have said, "This is the best thing ever. I can roll out of my bed at 7:55 for 8 o'clock class. I'm home and able to help my siblings." They're liking that. They're saying, because, my mom still has to go to work, so I can be an assistant. And if I was at school and siblings were still home, that wouldn't be able to happen. But then I also had the half that said, I don't work well in this environment. I need to come back to school. I need hands on. I need somebody to be able to check on me. I need social interaction. This is just not working for me. So I asked during those interviews on both sides, well, what can I do to support you? Can I help you with the time management on the side? If you're the kind that says this is not for me, what's the hindrance? Is it the time management? Is it distractions? Is it internet connection? There's so many things that can stand in our way that might not be successful during COVID. And then the ones that are liking it, how can I continue to help you to like it? What are some even things that we can make this even better while you're liking it? So that has been the difference during COVID with my students. And once again, we're going to talk about it today. It's meeting them where they are. What can I do to meet them where they are? Because I said no student is the same. Every student comes with things from home, things from school life, things from friends life, social life. what can we do to make sure that you're most successful while you're here at the early and middle college? Because I want to see you soar. I want to see you fly when you leave here. And that might not be to a 4-year institution. That might be staying with us at Forsyth Tech for a CTE pathway or another pathway. That might be going into the military. That might be going into the workforce. But I want to set you up, and us at Forsyth Tech, the staff, faculty, and staff, we want to see you do well. So what can we do to make you more successful when you leave us, when you part us, and then go into the community? We talk about Forsyth Tech making a better community. We want to do that. We want to make sure that our students are very, very successful to go into a better community. Yep.
Well, Megan, that was the perfect segue to our next section. There's a lot of talk these days about meeting students where they are. And I'm interested in sort of given all of your experience and background, what does that phrase mean to you? What does that mean? It's almost become not a cliche, but we hear it so often that I'm not sure that people entirely understand all that is meant by that. So what does that phrase mean to you?
Absolutely. So meeting students where they are it is a huge phrase, but it's a needed phrase. Understand that, once again, like I just said, no student is the same. So you have to meet students where they are, in the sense of, does it mean I need to check on that certain student a little bit more? Do I need to provide a different type of resource to that student? What can I do to make sure, once again, they are successful? I have students that, once again, they'll tell me, you know what, my internet's not the best, Miss Mills. I don't know what to do. And so I have been working hard to work with the school system to say, this neighborhood, I've had 3 students in this neighborhood, they need one of those buses in those neighborhood. Miss Mills, I don't have anybody in my family that went to college. I don't know how to fill out a college app. I don't know how to fill out that FAFSA. I have no clue where to start. And I want to make sure that I set aside time for even those students. Okay, so let's start at phase one. Let's go for just telling me what a dream school would look like. And then we're going to do some virtual tours. So that's the let's do some virtual tours during COVID, and let's talk about that step one. Some of my students might not even be that complex. They just said straight up to me, I don't have study skills. I'm not doing well because I don't have study skills. Let me connect you with the right person for study skills. I want to make sure students have, once again, all the tools to be successful. That's meeting. Sometimes it's not a one stop shop thing. It's not a every one size fits all, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't work like that in education. Everybody's not has the doesn't have the same starting point. Everybody's not going to have the same finish line. Everybody is trying to make sure that they are going to be successful. So I want to make sure that everybody's getting to their finish line. They're getting to that goal that they want to see at the end.
And Megan, can you tell me, in your in all of your work with your students, what are some of the most successful things you've seen faculty do to help to meet students where they are? What does this look like? What are some things that faculty are doing successfully? And then maybe you can, if you don't mind, speaking to some practices that you've seen that works against this, that doesn't help meet students where they are.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be out, and I'll speak from the early and middle college standpoint, but some practices that I have really seen for our early college students are that mentorship side. Making sure that students know from the very, very beginning, from faculty, from staff, from anybody, that we're here to help. That we're not just here to give you a piece of paper or give you one thing and then just send you on your way. No, we're here to make sure, like I said, to see you through your whole process. So a lot of I will see a lot of professors, which I love, have been making sure to say on day one, here's my contact information. Please reach out to me. Please email me. What can I do? They're checking in with students to say, hey, I see you didn't come to class today. Can I help you? What happened? Or you didn't turn that assignment in. That's so not like you. What can I do? Instead of just placing that zero on Blackboard and keep it moving, these students have things going on at home. And that's not even just for early and middle college. That's for the traditional students. They might have a job, they might have a child, an elderly parent, anything going on. Check in with these students, mentor these students to say, these are the ways to correct the mistake or to make it better the next time, or give feedback to the student. Okay, you did get a zero. Yes, you earned that zero. You didn't turn something in or you didn't do it. these are the ways next time to correct those things. And that has been very, very helpful for my students, especially in the early and middle college. And then also being the segue between me and the students. Sometimes I'll have a professor just say, hey, I have checked in with, John Doe and I haven't heard from them. I can then go and do a follow up with the student. Hi, your professor's reached out to you twice. Tell me what's going on. And sometimes they don't feel comfortable talking to that teacher. It's, well, Miss Mills, I just didn't really know how to reply to my teacher. I know I haven't been doing well. What do I do? And I can help them start that process. You have to understand my students are starting at 14 years old. So they're jumping into the adult world very fast and they don't know how to even sometimes type an email to a student, I mean to a professor. So just sometimes breaking that ice of, here's a starter email, this is how we start the conversation, let's go from there. So I think that is very important practice that professors and a lot of the faculty are really putting in places to mentor them from day one. We are here for you. We want you to do well. Here's some things to make sure you can get in touch with us. But here's some other college resources that we have at Forsyth Tech. We have the Learning Center. We have the Tutoring Lab. We have the Writing Center. We have so many different resources that, hey, if you're not getting it from me, or maybe I'm not doing exactly what you need, here's some other options. You don't have to just stop at Miss Mills and the professor. There's so many other options out here at Forsyth Tech. So I have been saying those are been some great practices for faculty and staff to understand that it's not, once again, it's not just teaching. It's not just getting up there presenting the information. Sometimes it does take the extra mile and the extra step to check in with the student, understand that there's some things going on, and going that extra mile to make sure that they have everything they need. Some practices that I have seen that maybe might not help the student as much is, once again, not having that leeway. We're in COVID. Um, a lot of things are going on. I have seen it even with my high school students. They're having to take care of siblings. Some of them are working a job. I had a student who ended up telling me, you know what, I'm working almost 40 hours a week. Okay, let's talk about that. Why are you working 40 hours a week? What's going on? You are, yes, 16, but school comes first. And really, you should not be working 40 hours a week during a school week. So, what's going on? So, I had that conversation, and it leads into so much more. This is going on. My mom lost her job during COVID. I'm helping to pay the bill. So, understanding that as the professor and as faculty, that sometimes get to know that student, understand that there's so much more going on behind the scenes, and that they're not really just giving you the excuse, oh, I forgot, or oh, I didn't have time. They really didn't have time. They might have been working a job till 11 o'clock at night and they didn't have time to get that assignment done, or they just might have fallen asleep. Once again, time management. I have to tell my students about time management and
Mhm.
understanding life. And as a professor, sometimes that conversation has to happen with the student. Okay, it's okay to have a job. Okay, it's okay to have extracurricular activities, but what can we do to make sure that you're getting what you need for school? So just working with the student, understanding that these students need that extra push, that extra help. And there's some students you would never know they're early and middle college students because they're doing the thing. They're just doing what they need to do to get those classes done, and that's great. I love that. I'm glad the students are doing what they need to be successful, but not every student is in that predicament.
Mm. So important. I love how your focus on this whole thing is relationships
Hmm.
and empathy, and I just, that cannot be overstated. So I appreciate your bringing that up. Megan, from just again from the faculty perspective,
Yes.
are there any particular things like videos or anything that really seems to connect with learners during COVID that they've said to you? Do they like, particularly since they're doing so much online work, do
Mhm.
they respond to certain kinds of assignments or the use of videos or things like that? Or are you hearing, what's the buzz? What do you hear from them on that?
So I will say for students have really, really enjoyed actually the lectures and being able to interact with their professor. I will be very honest. Every time I ask my students over the past couple weeks, what have you really, really liked about classes? Oh, I like interacting with my professor. I like being able to answer questions and have this interaction, even though it's virtually, it's still being able to have a discussion during class. So I will say a lot of my students don't like the just normal lecture where they don't get to interact, or a professor might, talk to them for a straight 20 minutes and then send them off to complete an assignment. No, they want to be able to still talk to their professor, have interaction, be able to have open discussion like they're still in class. Those are my students who are still needing that in class social interaction. So please don't cut that off for the students. They are really still wanting to feel like they're sitting in a classroom in a desk and they're having that conversation with professor. A lot of them still like to have discussion boards, and that's some of them. That's about 50% because I'm still talking to my professor. I'm still talking to my classmates. I'm still having that discussion to know what they're thinking about what's going on in the world, or they're thinking about an assignment, and that I can also have feedback what's going on in my assignment. So I will say that has been about half my students, and then also half my students have they think it's maturing them to have the completely online classes. So those
Mm.
asynchronous classes, they're like, Miss Mills, this is helping me mature. It's making me have time management. It's making me have a schedule and not procrastinate. I have to keep my syllabus on my calendar or above my headboard to where I do a check mark. I had one of my students say that I check off every assignment and try to get it done. So it's helping them develop those skills, having some of those asynchronous classes that, due to COVID, we had to have. And they're really loving those because they're saying about 50%, I have to mature. And this is preparing me for the next phase in life. Not just a 4-year institution, not just a job. It's preparing me for anything in life to be able to make sure that I am staying on top of these assignments.
Mm. That is so good to hear. I love that you spoke to both the synchronous and the asynchronous experience. And do you think, Megan, going forward, that do you think this sort of synchronous asynchronous world is sort of here to stay? Do you think it's going to be something that's going to be a part of our new brave normal? What's your perspective on that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think it is going to be a part of our new brave normal. And that's just my opinion. You have so many students that like it.
Mhm.
So, I think it's one of those things that it's creating this equity for us. We are continuing, that is huge at Forsyth Tech. It's equity. It's the student that might not have the transportation but still wants the face-to-face, interaction. The student that might not have the time to travel because they have to take care of take care of a child or take care of an elderly parent or any between. This is still creating an environment where they're having a face-to-face environment with classmates and a teacher, but they're not having to travel to campus. So I really think this is really setting us up for making sure that we're serving all students, and once again meeting them where they are. We are making sure that we are um, giving them the best. So asynchronous world is making sure that, hey, I don't have time to meet with a professor in class like this at an exact time, but I want to do the work. But you have that synchronous world that I can't get to campus. I don't feel comfortable maybe right now even coming to campus, but I'm still getting that interaction, and I'm still getting just like a normal class face to face with my professor.
Well, Megan, if you don't mind sharing, I think anybody who views this episode will agree that your students are so blessed to have you,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
and your positivity and your energy and your excitement is so contagious. During this whole difficult period, how have you stayed positive and inspired? What's really worked for you throughout all this?
So I will be honest with you. I This has been a crazy year for me. I was supposed to get married and I had to move my wedding, all that good stuff. I've always been the glass half full type thing. So my thing about it is it could be so much worse. So I am always that type of person that looks for the positive in it and what can make it more positive. So if I'm having a negative day, I try to write something positive down on my sheet, or I'm a YouTuber. I like to also I'm a TV person. That's kind of been my COVID like
Uh,
secret thing. I've been binge watching Netflix shows, so that has been my thing.
Excellent.
I try to pick something a joy every day. So if it means taking my lunch break to binge watch one of my a 30-minute episode of something, or if it means going to grab coffee from somewhere I haven't been in a long time, I try to find at least one joy in a day. That has been something during COVID I have had to stick to. When I feel myself down or when something's just not going how I need to go, I stop myself and I say, you know what? This has been a bad day or a bad moment up to now. What's something that's going to bring me joy? Let's stop right now and let that go do that for, if it's go take a lap around my neighborhood for 10 minutes. That's going to bring me joy for that 10 minutes. And that's going to push start the rest of the day for positivity. So I've really had to do that during COVID, because when it first started, I was like, oh no, this is not me. And if you can't tell from this interview, I am a very upbeat. I like to be around people and social. So at first I said, I don't know how I'm going to work from home. This is not going to be fun for me. I like to be around people. But then I said, you know what? It's okay. I can make a new normal for myself. I can make a new normal for my family. We are going to find a joy in this, because there's so many people out there that are going through so much worse. Why complain? So let's do something that's going to make us happy. And I tell that to my students too. What did you do today to make you happy, or what made you laugh, or what's something that in classes we can make it better. So I try to always turn it on the positive, even if the conversation has to go in a negative way of, well, I'm not doing well, Miss Mills. This is not the grade I expected. Okay, so let's turn it positive. What did you do well on that assignment? And let's do better for the next time. I always think it's great to, you're going to have a bad moment. Everybody has bad moments. That's just normal. But let's not stay in that bad moment. Let's find a joy for the rest of the day or that moment. It's okay. It's okay to be sad, but let's turn it around and be happy.
Well, Megan, I think I need to speak with you once a day. So, because I feel so energized and inspired right now, and just really great. Megan, listen, is there anything else you would like to share or say, Megan? This has been so insightful. I hope that this will reach a lot of people. Anything else you'd like to say about this period we live in, the students we're serving, meeting students where they are? Any final thought for us today?
Just a final thought is that everybody's going through something right now. COVID has hit everybody in a different way. So it always helps to be kind, be nice, ask somebody what do they need, and vice versa, because the person who's always asking what do they need, they might need something too. So making sure that you're asking that, and once again, meeting students where they are, it's always just meet a person where they are. It's not even just students. Everybody who could be wearing a smile on their face might need something. So always just ask that. You don't know what anybody's going through. So it never hurts to help a lending hand. Just be making sure that you're helpful. If there is a load, it's okay to ask for help too. That's the other side of that. I'm the type of person that I know, okay, it's time for me to ask for help. I need something for this. So it's okay for that too. And during this time, and like I said, it's okay. Hopefully, crossing fingers for everybody, this will be over soon.
Well, Megan, and what was your expression? One joy every day. One joy.
One joy every day. Find a joy in something every day. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be like going somewhere. Like I said, stop, binge watch a show, make your favorite cup of tea, get that glass of chocolate milk you weren't supposed to have, eat that cookie. Okay, it's okay, but you need to have one joy in every day so that can keep you pushing. Like I said, everybody's gonna have something that's gonna turn them the wrong way, or something might happen, or might you might go and have a happy whole week and then just one bad week. But it's okay. Find something in that day or that week to turn it around.
Well, Megan, this has been a wonderful joy in my day getting to speak to you, I have to say. So thank you so much for being our guest and for sharing your insight and your wisdom. And I know that it's going to touch and inspire a lot of people. So thank you so much, Megan. We
Thank
appreciate
you
your
for
time.
having me. Thank you for having me. You have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye bye.